of football is that if you don't make use of your chances, other guys come and eat your bread. If you put the bread there by the door and you don't guard it, other people come and eat it.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Soccer Podcast with no name. My name is Thabang Cheez. I'm joined by my co-host, Bongani, Bongz, Nkosi. Bongz, how are you, sir?
Hey, I'm very well, Mr. Kgeledi. How are you doing?
No, I'm living. What can we say? But we've got a lot to talk about today, so I think we should just get to it. Let's start with Mamelodi Sundowns beat Kaizer Chiefs to go level on points with Nkosi at the top of the Absa Premiership table. This happened last night. How did you see the game, and what are the implications?
Firstly, I think Mamelodi Sundowns, whenever they play Kaizer Chiefs, their aim is always to win the game. I don't think that Kaizer Chiefs are a team that pound to pound or head to head can take Mamelodi Sundowns on and win. I don't think they have that quality. I'm not undermining them, but I do think that Mamelodi Sundowns were the better team at the end of the day. Remember, they scored in the first half, in the 34th or after 34 minutes. At the end of the day, Kaizer Chiefs had the whole, the remainder of the first half, even the whole second half, to change things around. And I believe that they had plenty of opportunities, even from last, not even campaign, before the corona shut us down. They were leading by, at some point, 16 points. Came back to 12 points, and again when we opened, they had opportunity to lead maybe to even another 8 or 9 points, and they failed. And the reality of football is that if you don't make use of your chances, other guys come and eat your bread. If you put the bread there by the door and you don't guard it, other people come and eat it. The coach said, if we don't win this one, we want the other one. And for me, the implications are Kaizer Chiefs are going to suffer. Supporters are not going to be happy. I don't see a future for Mazinho.com, because at the end of the day, he has had plenty of opportunity. It's a second stint at Kaizer Chiefs, and he's failing.
How I saw yesterday's game was that it seemed as though Pizzo said it at the beginning of the game, is that we shouldn't take this game as a title decider. All of us, of course, saw it as the game that will decide where the championship goes to. But Pizzo made sure to let us know that, no, this is not the case, that it's just another game. But obviously we are not fools. We know that the game meant a lot to both teams, and the winner will probably go on to win the championship. So as Sundowns have won the championship, I think they will be front runners, even though they are number 2 right now behind Kaizer Chiefs. They behind Chiefs on goal difference, but they will be the team that I put my money on. But going back to the game, how I saw it is that Bito Misimane didn't seem to be reckless and have his team go all out without keeping their structure. The team kept their structure, and Kaizer Chiefs, surprisingly, this is actually the best game I've seen them play in quite a few months. They had the opportunities. There was one opportunity where Bernard Parker was one-on-one with the keeper, and he just decided to pass to, I'm not sure who, because I didn't see a player anywhere close to where that pass was heading to, but he decided to pass it somewhere else. And then Sundowns went the other side, and they sorted them out by scoring a goal. So, and then the second half came, and Sundowns did have opportunities, but I think they just shut up shop and say, you know what, this team that have not been performing well, they must come and break us down. And Kaizer Chiefs, of course, failed in that regard. So, in terms of, like I said, the implications, I think Mamelodi Sundowns have taken the league.
Staying with the Kaizer Chiefs, or staying with Kaizer Chiefs rather, they are left with games against Bidvest Vets, Chippa United, and Barca. While Sundowns' last 3 games are up against the Limpopo trio of Barca, Polokwane City, and Black Leopards. Which team has the advantage going into the last few games of the season, in your opinion?
The last few games, the next game of Kaizer Chiefs against Bidvest Wits, of course, are playing for nothing since they are effectively TTM as we speak right now. But they are going to play for pride, and you can see Gavin Hunt is a very proud man. He'll want to go out with a bang. So Kaizer Chiefs, just their next game in J, that's already going to be tough. I'm not even going to get to Chippa United and Barca. I think the next game for Kaizer Chiefs will be very important. If they can get 3 points there, then they can have a shout on taking it to the last couple of games to see who wins the championships. But if they lose on Sunday against Bidvest Wits, this will be very tough for them to come back from that, because Mamelodi Sundowns on the other side, they are playing against Barca. As we know, Barca are not very good this season, and they're probably going to go down. Polokwane City also, they're not very good this season, and they are also in the relegation mix. Black Leopards have played well post lockdown, but they lost their previous game. I think it was against SuperSport United. So they're also under pressure. But at the end of the day, these teams are relegation threatened teams, and I think Mamelodi Sundowns, with the momentum that they have from winning the past couple of games, will just have too much for this team. So I think the team that has the advantage clearly has to be Mamelodi Sundowns.
Yeah, I agree with that. At the end of the day, remember, like I said, Kaizer Chiefs let themselves down rather. With that loss to Mamelodi Sundowns, at least if they got a draw from that match, would be seeing something different. And as you mentioned, Pitso Musimane said it's not the league decider, but to us, we are not dumb. We know the road ahead looks pretty simple for Mamelodi Sundowns. I mean, looking at Barca, I think they have 2 home games and 1 away game to Polokwane City. Barca and Black Leopards are at home, and it's difficult to beat Sundowns at home. Obviously, they are all in Gauteng, which makes no difference. So it's better for Sundowns because they are at home for all these 3 games. Maybe if they were at least going to Limpopo, would say something different. But since they're here, I think the road is easier for Mamelodi Sundowns. Looking at Kaizer Chiefs, that game against Bidvest Wits will be a tough one. It's never easy playing against Vets, no matter it will be called TTM. That doesn't matter. They still are on the field and have 90 minutes to play to finish the season. And remember, also these players will be playing for their contracts. Some of them don't know whether they will be kept or they will be let go. And at the end of the day, this is maybe their last chance to showcase their skills, even for other teams maybe to come and take them, give them jobs. So at the end of the day, it's a do or die for Bidvest Wits players. And Kaizer Chiefs, I think it's looking gloom, like I said, for Middendorp. Chippa United and Barca, like you said, not so much of tough games even for Chiefs. But again, remember, Chiefs struggles with Chippa United at times, with Chippa having beaten Chiefs a few times. So it's not going to be easy. But for me, the team with the advantage here is Mamelodi Sundowns. They've got themselves back in the game. And if they lose it here, I don't think Pitso will be happy.
Let's move on to another Soweto giant, Orlando Pirates. After they lost to Cape Town City last week, Sunday, they are now mathematically out of the title race. What did you make of Orlando Pirates' season? And where do you think they can improve?
I think Orlando Pirates had a decent season. if you ask me. Well, not on the standard of Orlando Pirates or the Orlando Pirates that we are used to, that is used to challenging for the title and going to Africa and beating big teams there. But I think that it wasn't too bad considering the choices they had to make, the change of coaches and the other coach running away. Speaking about his mother being sick, but goes to a big team in Africa where they give him big money. So if you consider all those things, and remember also at the beginning of the season, they had just rebuilt the team, bringing in new players, younger players, so they still had to find their way in the PSL. So for me, they didn't have a bad season considering all those factors, taking them into consideration. But at the end of the day, they have good players. And if you don't use that to your advantage at the end of the day, you will suffer. And you see them at one point, they were at the bottom half of the table. Which is expected, like I said, but I don't think Orlando Pirates fans should be that angry at the team. Maybe be angry now because they caught some form, I think, in the second half of the season before Corona, and I think when Corona hit and they started fighting in the dressing room again, the coach started losing the battle there, and some players wanted to go overseas and not playing. So these are the results of all the ingoing issues that we don't know about. They say the players are drinking, during the lockdown. We didn't see that. There's no proof. The players didn't say, yes, we did, we agree, nothing like that. So at the end of the day, I think with all their internal affairs, it's not a bad season for Orlando Pirates. And if they can finish in the top 5 or at least the top 8, they can have a future next season.
Orlando Pirates, yes, you could say, but as an Orlando Pirates supporter, I'll try to be objective. This was a disappointing season. This was the season where the past 2 seasons we've come second because of Mamelodi Sundowns. And we thought that this would be our season. Coach Micho, unfortunately, he saw a bigger paycheck somewhere else. So he decided to lie to and get out of Orlando Pirates. But that's unfortunate. I think what he brought was a winning culture at Orlando Pirates that hadn't been there for a long time, or well, at least since Kroll had left. Then they decided to put in this boy called Rolando Mokoena. And Rolando Mokoena, unfortunately, did not cut the mustard because I don't know, even I am not a qualified coach, but what I saw in his teams, I saw that, number one, those teams are not good enough in terms of the way he puts them on the pitch and everything. Orlando Pirates are a very talented team, but the way he used to play players out of position, it was very confusing to me. And number two, I knew he wasn't going to last long. So, of course, I'm not a sangoma or anything, but what I predicted did come through. He didn't last long at Orlando Pirates. Then now they put in coach Zimbabwe. Now Zimbabwe's team cannot score. I do not understand what's going on there. Like I'm saying to you, Orlando Pirates is a very talented team, but it's just very few things, which I think you're correct. It's happening in the background. There's nothing to do with what's going on the pitch. We can't say they're unlucky. You can't not score goals for 6 games and say, no, you're unlucky. There's something else going on there. Hopefully they can fix it for next season.
Yes, and moving on now to bigger fish or bigger news, rather. Lionel Messi's beef with Barcelona board has resulted in him handing in a transfer request. What will the move away from the Camp Nou mean for the Barcelona, or for Barcelona and Lionel Messi as a player?
A move away for, let's start with Barcelona. Lionel Messi has carried Barcelona for quite a few years now. I can say maybe 3 years, where he has the most assists, most goals, the most everything in that team. He shot us with the most saves. That's the only thing he shot us with. Yeah, but other than that, he does everything in the team. And I think right now he is fed up. That's why he handed in his transfer request, because what's happening now is that he does not like the president of Barcelona at the moment, and the decisions he's making. They put in this coach, Kike Setien, and that man, you could see him, just his face. You could see that that guy does not know what's happening there. The players, this also have not brought in new players. He said he wanted Neymar last season. They failed to do that. He said he wanted certain things. They failed to do that. So what this means for Barcelona is that maybe they'll have to restart from fresh. Real Madrid is not that Real Madrid are the best team, one of the best teams in Europe at the moment anyway. Those are the Liverpools and the Bayern Munich. So they're also going to rebuild. So maybe without Messi, they can rebuild, because with Messi, they need to win now. Lionel Messi, what it means for him, we'll see. If everybody calls him the greatest player in the world, let's see if he goes to England, where those guys just kick. In England, those guys don't watch you with the ball like maybe they do in La Liga. There they kick. They have center backs who want to break your leg. So let's go there. He must go there, and let's see if he'll be the best player there too.
Yeah, I think starting with FC Barcelona, look, it's very sad what's happening there. And again, I don't know why the fans are saying maybe the president is the problem, but we've seen this a few times, since the times of Xavi, since Xavi left, and then Iniesta and those guys. You could see a decline at Barcelona, and we're all wondering why they are not buying big name players. They were bringing young players that we didn't know of, Dembele from Monaco, and all these other young players. We couldn't understand what they were doing when they did this. And of course, by letting go of Neymar, we couldn't understand what was going on. Regardless of what happens, if you have a Neymar in your team and he's one of the best players, you don't let him go. You try to please him, raise his salary. Try to convince him that he's gonna maybe get a salary closer to Messi's salary, or say something. Just don't let a player go like that. But at the end of the day, they did, and now they're suffering the consequences. And I think at the end of the day, maybe that's why the fans are saying the president must step down. And at the end of the day, that's what happens if the team is not happy. This is big history. And I think we will see what happens going forward. But the earthquake has hit at Barcelona. And as for Lionel Messi, I don't doubt the man. I don't think there's a player like Lionel Messi, even if he goes to England. I think the same way Cristiano Ronaldo used to pass players there, I think this guy is technically gifted. He just doesn't use speed like Gareth Bale, but he has the ball is glued to his feet, and he can change direction at any point in time. I don't think he will suffer at any team that he goes to, especially now because they're saying he might go to Manchester City. I think he'll make Manchester City great if that does happen.
Staying with Lionel Messi, word on the internet street is that PSG's Di Maria and Neymar have been blowing up Messi's phone, asking him to come to their club. But on the other side, Manchester City have offered 3 players and a whole lot of cash to Barcelona. Where do you think Messi would best fit in? PSG or Manchester City?
I think that is those teams, they are 2 big teams, and I think that it will be up to Messi where he chooses to go. I think if he goes to PSG, it will be maybe a little bit of drop off a standard, because remember PSG, they always win. They are, I don't know what they just take everything every season. Like I said, they win the league 40 times. I think 40 times in a row now. No one else wins that league. So I think it will be up to Messi. If he does go there. One wonderful thing would be that in France, I think the tax is not a lot. It's 10% or less than that. So all his money will go to his pocket. So if he wants to do that, he might decide to go to PSG and earn money and maybe retire happy and get a job at Barcelona after he retires with even more cash. Or he might decide to go to Manchester City. That's a bit of a challenge, and I think that for me it would be a suitable team for him. They play the type the type of football that Barcelona plays. They have Pep Guardiola, who's coached Messi before, and I think it would be a wonderful reunion. And I think because Man City has the money, this is oil money. We all know this. At the end of the day, they can afford his salary. They can afford to pay all the players, even with Messi in the squad. So I think that if he goes to England, it will be a nice challenge for him. And after a lot of talk by people doubting Messi if he will fit in England, I think it will be a challenge he would be up to. And I think it will also motivate him to maybe carry on and play for longer, so we can see him on the screen and experience and enjoy him playing a bit more at the end of the day. Man City challenge in the Champions League, they are in all the trophies, you know, so it's not a small team, it's a big team at the end of the day, and I think he will be happy there.
Yes, in terms of fit, like you said, I think he'll fit into any team. Even you can bring him here to Orlando Pirates. I think he'll fit in. It will just be up to the price that both teams put down and whether he agrees terms, which team he agrees terms with. But apparently PSG have the better terms in terms of the financial terms, because players like Silva and Edson Cavani have left the club. Now they have space and enough salary for him to come in and earn even more than what he was earning at Barcelona, which apparently is around 800,000 euros a week, which is like a truckload of money. So, but like you're saying, if he goes to PSG, he'll be just waiting for the PSG for the Champions League. I'm sorry, waiting for the Champions League, because otherwise they can put in their B team and we win League and all those cups. Those cups are very useless. But if he wants to be competitive, he should opt for Manchester City, because there he'll hlangana with Liverpool and those other guys, and they will surely put fire. They'll put fire up his ass, and they'll make him play better. But in terms of fit, like I'm saying, the man can fit in anywhere. But where I'd like to see him play is Manchester City.
Definitely. And moving on, Chelsea have been on a spending spree this transfer window. They've started off by signing Hakim Ziyech, then Timo Werner, Ben Chilwell, and Malang Sarr. Thiago Silva and Kai Havertz will be arriving soon. I'm sorry if I pronounced their names wrong there. I don't speak Espanol. How much time should Chelsea and its supporters give Frank Lampard to win a major trophy?
Yes, it is said because they could not make transfers because of the transfers as suspension that they were handed down by UEFA, that now they have all the money to spend in the world. Well, that being said, it seems like they're spending all the money in the world. Roman Abramovich's money, they're spending like it's a slave queen with your credit card. So if that's the case, they must win the league or win some trophy. If not this season, then next season. So basically, we should be giving them 2 years, a couple of years for them to get something. I don't think they're good enough to no matter they'll be good enough to win the Champions League as of yet. But I think this season they can get into the top 3 again, and next year they should win the league. Frank Lampard, the pressure should be on him. He had one good season where they qualified for the Champions League, but this season, like I'm saying, I don't think this season it would be fair for us or the Chelsea supporters to ask him to, with the new signings, for him to be better than Liverpool, to be better than Manchester City already, because these teams have been doing it. Klopp, it was 3 seasons before he got his championships. So I think this will be his second season. Next season, they should expect something.
Yeah, I would agree with some of the comments that you've put there. I think it's a lot of pressure to Frank Lampard if you then buy all of these players and expect him to immediately, automatically start winning the Champions League and the league and all these major trophies. I think their spending spree is understandable. There's also they are trying to, add strength into the team, and maybe with Timo Werner, their speed and youth, at the end of the day, they've gotten rid of Willian, who was helping them out with that speed, skill, and But obviously, when you sell a player like that, you need to replace him with someone else or other players that will help in that sense of attack. At the end of the day, I think these are good signings. They will help Chelsea out. We all know that they are strong in defense, and going forward, they will then have now options with these young players that they're bringing on that will attack. And at the end of the day, I would be happy as a Chelsea supporter, because they've been calling for a change. They've been calling for something to be done. Chelsea has been a sleeping giant for a few seasons now, and I think this will help them wake up and have a go at these teams and be part of fighting for the league. And with Frank Lampard, I think a lot of pressure, but I think that they should understand that, like you said, he already had one season which wasn't too bad, according to me, or in my opinion. It wasn't too bad. The second season with these new players will be a rebuild and trying to figure out which players to play and which are their strengths and weaknesses. And maybe in the third season, they can expect the wins to come.
Let's move on to quick hits. Barcelona president Joseph Maria Bartomeu, sorry about the pronunciation, says he is willing to step down if Messi stays at Barcelona. What do you make of this revelation?
Yeah, I think that he's desperate. I think he's desperate for Lionel Messi to stay at Barcelona. I think that end of the day, even if he steps down, even if they've already brought in another coach, I don't think the coach and Messi already see eye to eye. Apparently, Messi has already said he decided to move out of to move from Barcelona because of the coach. So I think that they're just being desperate and are holding on to straws, thinking that if he steps down, Messi will stay. It's too late for that train.
Yes, I think this is a desperation move, because they've been supporters who've been outside of the Camp Nou who want that man's head. They've been outside there, young boys that are willing to burn down his house. So I think now he's just trying to make things cool down. You told her he's not even serious. He's just saying it to say it. And then when Messi goes, he says, "You see, I tried. I said I'd step down, but he left. So you can't say it's on me." But also, it seems as though Messi has too much power. Let's say this guy is speaking the truth here. Messi has too much power. One player cannot have the president of a club step down. I mean, come on. We understand you, the best player the club has ever seen, but that is too much power for my liking.
Moving on to the second quick hit. In an interview with Talk Sport, when Rooney called Lionel Messi the greatest footballer of all time, having been a teammate of Rooney at Manchester United, should Ronaldo be offended?
Being a teammate and him winning so many trophies with Wayne Rooney, if I was Ronaldo, I kind of would be offended. I mean, yes, me and I'm speaking as Ronaldo here. Me and Rooney have not seen eye to eye in certain things, but he's seen me play. He's seen my work ethic, and in his eyes, I should be the best player. The only thing he's seen from Messi is when Messi sorted him out in the Champions League final. On two occasions. One time I was there, the other time I was not there. So you can't really say he's better than me, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, I think these are personal issues between players, and sometimes you would never know whether Rooney is holding a grudge or he has something against Ronaldo. But we'll never know. Or maybe when they shared the team, he didn't wash his shoes. But we don't know. At the end of the day, as Wayne Rooney, again, they say he was one of the greatest players there. I don't remember that. I just seem to remember him having patches of scoring good goals. And at the end of the day, a player like that would say Messi is great because obviously Messi, like you said, dribbled him and made nuisance of him there on the field while Ronaldo was laughing at him.
Kaizer Chiefs supporters have criticized Peter Mosimane for parking the bus against their team last night, saying Peter complains when other teams do it to him. Do they have a point, or are they just salty because their team lost?
For me, I think Kaizer Chiefs is just being salty. They may say that about Pitso Mosimane, but remember, Pitso has always complained about teams parking the bus, and when the shoe has changed, and the tables have changed, the shoe is on the other foot. Kaizer Chiefs are the ones now complaining. I think they lost it for themselves. They left it too late and decided not to beat the other teams before Mamelodi Sundowns. So for me, they are crybabies. Pitso did the right thing. Also me, when I'm 1-0 up front and I want the league, I'll defend. I'll put 10-1. That's my formation, 10-1. And no one will tell me what to do.
Yes, in this instance, you need to do what you need to do. League championship is on the line. Look, I'm not a fan of parking the bus. I'm not a fan of this Jose Mourinho-like football. I think it's anti-negative football, but you have to do what you have to do. If I was also one goal ahead and I can see the other team is starting to gain momentum, yes, I will substitute my attacking players for defensive players and say, come break me down. If you can't break me down, that's your problem. It has nothing to do with me parking no bus. If you're not good enough, you're not good enough. You failed. Stop being salty and let's move on.
Yes, and moving on to the next one, George LEBESE, the forgotten Kaizer Chiefs star, has scored a beautiful goal to inspire his American team, Switchbacks FC, to a comeback win. Of course, we cannot watch him perform for the club because their games are not even televised in a league that doesn't even have promotion or relegation. But what do you think the goal means for his confidence?
Yes, George LEBESE has had a tough, you could say, 3 to 4 years. I'm not too sure how long he was at Mamelodi Sundowns, but he was always the butt of our jokes. He went on a Marawa show. It seemed like he was crying there, and you can see the player was really hurt of the situation that he found himself in. Leaving Kaizer Chiefs was a bad decision for him. So I think him moving over to America, I mean, the league is not that good, but him moving over there, gaining confidence, and him showing that he still somewhat has it. I'm sure it does so well for his confidence.
Yeah, I would agree that it's good for his confidence. Remember, if you don't have confidence, then you are not a soccer player at all. There's no soccer player that lacks confidence and does the job on the pitch. So you need to be confident, and I think that will help him bring up his confidence. And remember, people will say, he left South Africa. He's playing in a league where there's no relegation or promotion, as I mentioned. But at the end of the day, I think that as a soccer player, you are not in South Africa. You're in America, maybe earning more money, and you get to go to Los Angeles, Chicago, Nevada. Why would I complain? I'm American, getting dollars. You are telling me about the rent. No, I score a rocket off a goal. I go after that. I go to Los Angeles. I think it's good for him, and he must continue. Maybe eventually he might even end up in Beckham's team. No one knows.
Spanish reporters say Lionel Messi is looking to move out of Spain for reasons other than football. Messi, his father, and his brother have a tax evasion case pending. They say this is the same reason Cristiano Ronaldo ran away from Madrid. How valid are these suspicions?
I think we would never know how valid they are, but we always the truth is the truth, and these players get a lot of money. And remember, like I mentioned, for tax purposes, many players have moved, and I think that certain players like Neymar, I'm not saying this is true, but I suspect that most of the players that move to the French league, as I mentioned, the tax is very low. You don't get taxed much, and if you move from far away from your cases, then they don't follow you, and they don't know how much you are making, because obviously you are now banking in a different country. At the end of the day, it might be true, it might not be true, but look, after all, soccer player or not, we are all humans. We love money and want to secure our futures. And if he moves for that reason, I don't blame him.
Yes, they could be valid because it is a fact that there is a case pending against Lionel Messi. Is it the decision why he wants to move? Who knows? But it will be very coincidental because Barcelona are kind of sucking right now. So it's not that Barcelona are performing well and now all of a sudden he wants to move. No, that isn't the case. So it could be valid, just like you're saying. You never know the personal reasons of why people want to move. We know Italy and France, they very lax on their tax. So I don't know. That's it could be valid and it could be not. So it's up to your interpretation.
Yes, and the next one, Paul Pogba has tested positive for the coronavirus with the Premier League beginning next weekend. Do you think Manchester United have a replacement?
If you can speak about Manchester United, you'd realize that as we sit right now, they have never even signed one player. They're busy chasing after Jadon Sancho. Borussia Dortmund want 130 million euros for him. So I doubt in this corona Manchester United can afford him, but they haven't signed any midfielders, they haven't signed any defenders, which are areas that they do like. So I'm not too sure who they'll replace him with, but let's just hope for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's case, he can find somebody who can have his creativity, because putting all the creativity on the shoulders of Bruno Fernandes, for me, it doesn't make sense and it's not sustainable.
Yeah, I think well, we have to say it's a sad case because we care about players. We don't want anyone contacting the virus, but hopefully he recovers from that. Speaking about having a replacement for him, I think Manchester United will struggle, as you mentioned, for the main fact that they haven't signed any players or try to strengthen the team or anything. The last player that they bought was this Fernandes that they're trusting in so much. He's performing great, but at the end of the day, you cannot rely on one above average player who is carrying the team. You need either a superstar, or you need to build a team with players that will support that player. So for me, I think that they will struggle. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, when he got to United, he won 8 games without losing, and as the season panned out, he ended up in position 3, and we saw that it was getting difficult for him. I think it will be even tougher next season, because at the end of the day, you don't have the players, but you want to perform and play in the Champions League. They lost in the Europa League, they didn't go to the final. I think it will be a tough road ahead for Manchester United.
Yes, and with that, we have come to the end of our show. Bongz, what football would you be watching this weekend that maybe our listeners and our viewers will also be able to watch?
Well, obviously, starting today, I'll just be watching Stellenbosch, who are taking on Chippa United. Not that it's a great match, but I think I like Stellenbosch. They came into the PSL, it's their first season, and they're doing better than many teams there. But it's usual for a new team to do that. What I like about them is they didn't get rid of the whole team. They brought the team that they came with and replaced a few players here and there, and I support them for that, and I see them doing well. And obviously on Saturday, there's also Orlando Pirates taking on SuperSport United. So we'll be seeing what happens with that match, because both those teams know that they will no longer be winning the league. Highlands and Maritzburg United as well, watch out for that one. Amazulu and Black Leopards, I think the Leopards will be fighting not to get relegated. So that will be specifically a very big match in a sense for the bottom half of the table. Golden Arrows will take on Cape Town City. That will be another one you'll want to have a look at. So mostly I'll just be focusing on the PSL to see what happens again on Sunday. You will then have the Kaizer Chiefs and that Bidvest match, and Mamelodi Sundowns taking on Baroka, Bloemfontein Celtic, and Polokwane City. So that's a lot of football to watch for me this weekend, and I think I'm happy with that.
Yes, I think what is it? The Charity Shield is this weekend. Yeah, I think the Charity Shield tomorrow at half 5 on SuperSport 3. The Charity Shield, Arsenal against Liverpool. I think Liverpool will sort those guys out. I think very easy. But anyway, I'm not a betting man. We should actually open a betting what is it account for this podcast, and then at the end of the podcast we give our predictions on what's going to happen at the end of the weekend. But other than that, thanks for listening and making it, or listening to us till the end of the show. My name is Thabang Cheez. Bongz?
From me as well, it's Bongz here. Thank you guys for sharing this time and your moments with us. Until next time, this is that show without a name.